And then with the conditions here in Old Town, you see a lot of vacant office space, storefronts along 2nd and 3rd Street here. Can the argument really be made that with all this vacant commercial space that we really need to build something in the order of 250,000 square feet more?
Well, I believe that it will bring more people back into the core area here. It will bring more retailers right here because of that increased activity in the balloon track area via the track of Old Town. I believe that's what the voters would want, to have it more concentrated in downtown Old Town here. We have such a beautiful waterfront. We need to really just expand on that. Keep people here. I think that's what the voters would like.
And as far as the Ridgewood development, obviously that's not within the city of Eureka's control. It's in unincorporated territory just beyond the city boundaries down there in Cutton. It seemed to be a rare moment of unity amongst the city council and city staff, saying that they felt it was not taking the traffic into account, the water and wastewater impacts on the city into account, and would be parasitic on the current commercial development opportunities here in Eureka. Why do you feel the same arguments wouldn't apply to Balloon Track, and would you even apply them to the Ridgewood development?
Well, let me take that in two parts, because that sounds like a pretty extensive question to me. Part one that I think I'll attack right now is the part about it's in the county. It's out of the city. There's no sales tax for the city when it's out of the city limits. So yes, I would not be for that development there. And number two, the second part, and I believe that most of our voters would back with me on that are City of Eureka voters, which is what I'm running for the council. The traffic study, it's right now, the traffic out there in Cutton and Walnut, and I used to live in Lombard Hills as well. Putting roads through there when it wasn't intended for the major traffic that development would do for Lombard Hills, for Walnut, and for Excelsior and all the other roads, there's only a handful, I think about 4, that would be going back to that neck of the woods, so to speak. Could not handle it the way that they are right now.
What would you do that would be most effective, you feel, to create jobs in Eureka?
Well, City Council doesn't create jobs. We can facilitate and try and attract business owners, entrepreneurs, and make it to where we have a pro-business stance, that we're attracting people here to settle and say that yes, we have a very beautiful area here. We've got one of the most gorgeous areas here in Northern California to settle down, to put your business here. We need to expand on fiber optic. We need to have a redundant fiber optic cable. That would be something that I would hope we could get through with the county plan and with the rest of the cities in the area, that we can get a second line into the area so that we're not down when AT&T's line gets cut down south of us. Or if a power outage happens down that way and a tree comes down or somebody digs up something, we cannot have that. In this day and age, with the digital, the internet, credit cards, all of that pretty much comes to a grinding halt. Business stops.
Moving on to homelessness, I know just like Richardson Grove, homelessness is an issue you've tackled through the Chamber of Commerce. Beyond just the lock them up or give them a bus ticket to go elsewhere approach, what can be done by the city to actually take a more proactive stance and try to resolve the situation without simply saying it's the county's fault, they have the resources, it's their job to handle it, or as is the present situation, not handle it?
Right. Well, let me put it this way. John Shelter at North Coast Regional Resource Center has a great plan going. We've been working with him at the Chamber of Commerce, that I'm the chairman of the board this year on that. We've got a task force that is a multi-pronged attack on it, with nonprofit agencies, government agencies, business people, and John's helping out on that as well. When we gather together and try and put our heads together for a solution all together instead of in single parts, we can address this problem. I believe John has a great program there to address the biggest portion of the population of our homeless here, which is single men. 68% of those homeless are men that are single. Our agencies right now address the need for families, for women and children.
Obviously, the police have gone through some more extensive training as far as how to deal with mentally ill persons without resorting to use of force. Do you feel that's been a positive step for EPD, and what more do you think can be done?
Well, let's put it this way. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? That's the source with the mental health and the homeless at the same time. Did they become mentally imbalanced because of their homelessness, or were they mentally impaired before they became homeless? It's a balancing point right there, and I believe by addressing responsibility and being able to give them jobs to do that are not just jobs and that are doing nothing, but we can use them to help clean up our curbs.
Real quick on the smoking ordinance, that's another complaint I've heard from small businesses. On top of the sales tax increase, not allowing them to have smoking in the patios and the back patio of even a local tavern or out on benches outside, that's really has the potential of chasing away their customers. Do you think that's too invasive an ordinance, or was the council correct in moving forward on that? And do you think the police have better things to do than run around handing out $100 smoking tickets?
Well, I think the police have much better things to do, yes. But what's kind of brought that on was the people that smoke not being sensitive to the needs of those people that do not smoke. There were pretty much, it's always the few that always taint the rest.
And as far as the true ward system that was proposed, Eureka has a system that I can't find a parallel for elsewhere in the state. Mostly it's at-large elections like Arcata, Fortuna, or it's district elections where, just like congressional districts, each district has their own rep. Do you think Eureka has to pick between one or the other, or are you satisfied with the current system?
Well, I think if you're a citizen in the city of Eureka, you should be able to run for a seat. So citywide just makes sense. I think our old ward system is a little dated. I don't believe very many cities in California have that type of ward system. So yes, once again, I've been a city citizen since I moved up here in '83. I did move out into the county, out into Cutton for about a year and a half for a small length of time with my family. But for the most part, the rest of the time, always been within the city limits of Eureka. I am the business person running for the job here to expand sales tax in the area to then fund our police and fire and other city services that will keep up our parks and recreation programs that we all need and deserve. So I hope when people go out to vote on November 2nd that they'll remember Mike Newman for City Council. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Charles.